All right, hey, what's going on there, folks? Good evening. It is the Earthmaster back here on this Friday night, May 26, 2023. It's almost about, 11 p.m. here along the West Coast, getting in a late update, but hey, better late than never. Latest quake shows a 1.4 here into the Alaska region. Did see some movement down into the Tonga area as well, with a 6.0 coming in earlier late afternoon time period. Looks like we're starting to get some deeper movement once again here into the Kermadec Trench, Tonga Trench area with the latest quake, a 4.4 at 534 kilometers deep. So we've definitely had a lot of large-scale earthquake activity so far this year. And let me see if they're going to let me refresh this or not. There we go. With about 27 earthquakes here, what I did is I pulled up 6.5 earthquakes and above since the 1st of this year. So since January 1st, this is going to be the map here. And also pulled up January 1st, 2022 up until this date, but last year. So I wanted to see how things compare in the amount of earthquakes and the magnitude, see if we are ahead compared to last year. So looking at this year so far, we've seen obviously some pretty large quakes, including the largest, a 7.8, struck over in Turkey. And of course, the second largest earthquake struck just a couple weeks ago here into the Loyalty Islands area. This region has seen quite a bit of movement here over the last couple weeks, some rather large aftershocks, including a 7.1 in there as well. So far, no 8s, very close to the 8 magnitude. Most of the activity looking at the energy here has been focused across the southwestern edge here of the Pacific Plate and across areas of the Java Trench eastward into Indonesia. We did see a 7.1 over here in the Java Trench earlier back into April. Not a whole lot of activity across the Mariana Trench or up across the Japan region. Now, I know Japan did see the 6.1. This is just 6.5 and above. Kuril-Kamchatka Trench looks like they did have a 6.5 northern end here back in April, 101 kilometers deep. Notice California here, nothing above the 6.5 threshold. Including South America has been really quiet in terms of larger scale movement this year so far. But 27 earthquakes with the largest, a 7.8. Now let's go ahead and look at last year's magnitudes here. We got 20 earthquakes on the map. So basically this is the same date, but last year up until January 1st of 2022 last year. So same time frame, just different year. And we had about 20 earthquakes. The largest magnitude back then was a 7.3, just into the Japan area, it looks like, into the Japan Trench back in March 2022. So technically speaking here, we're already ahead in the number of large earthquakes, and so far the largest magnitudes are ahead of last year's as well, considering the time frame. This time last year, up until January 1st of last year, is going to be the 20. And then, of course, today's date up until our most recent January here of this year. So definitely ahead, magnitude-wise, and the number of quakes. Looking at last year's, at least the first half of last year's magnitudes here, a little bit more spread out compared to this year's, where we're mainly focused across this area of the Indonesia region. A little bit more scattered, spread out. Alaska did see some activity up here as well. A couple upper 6s back in January of 2022. And again, though, the West Coast, California, all quiet, awfully quiet. One area that did see a little bit further movement, looks like, is down here into the South America region, where we did see a couple 6s and some 7s. Now, again, this doesn't cover all of last year, just basically up until March 26th, which is technically today's date, but 1 year ago, up until January of that prior year. All right, let's see what else we got here. And by the way, someone was asking about how often do 9-pointers come up to the map here. Well, they're it's iffy. I mean, if there's enough stress built up here, we'll definitely see them. I pulled up the historical data here into the the last 1,000 years or so. I'm sure there's been more earthquakes, but just what the USGS has, and these are all the earthquakes of 8.5 and above that's been kept here on the records with the USGS, and these are quite a few nines across the map. Of course, the largest earthquake so far recorded in our history. May have been some bigger ones. You just never know. 9.5 back in 1960, the Great Chilean earthquake there, striking just offshore of the, it looks like it may have been onshore, or half and half, take your pick there, into that subduction zone. Big time earthquake back then. Of course, the most recent earthquake, as far as the 9-pointers go, was the 2011 Japan earthquake. We know about that pretty well. So, and then again, of course, the year of, where was this at? Sumatra. That area has seen a lot of earthquake activity, not only back in 2012, but also the big 9-pointer. That big 9-point, was it 9.4? Let me see here. Where is it? There's Chilean 9.1, Sumatra. Okay, it was a 9.1. 2004. So that area definitely seen quite a bit of large-scale activity. And it's been awfully, I mean, it gets 5s and 6s on occasion here, but it just kind of goes to show you how this subduction zone accumulates a lot of big-time stress here. And that's going to be kind of hard to tell over here, but roughly around this area where the green and the orange meet, that's going to be the Eurasia plate, right? Meeting up here with the Australia plate. There's a couple different dynamics here, but this is a major accumulator of stress. And just goes to show you how large these earthquakes can get out here. Of course, back on the west coast here, the Cascadia subduction zone 9.0 back in 1700. And depending on who you ask, average intervals range from roughly 240 years to 500 years. So, but on average, I think if you do like a Google search on it, it shows about 260 years or something like that. And of course, that's been well over that time frame. So the Cascadia definitely, I think, somewhat overdue here for an earthquake. And, there's many regions that are somewhat overdue out here. Right now, though, along the west coast and the Cascadia, things look pretty quiet. Although the tremor, let me bring up the Cascadia Tremor here tonight, is still fairly active with 447 epicenters of tremor along the Cascadia subduction zone. That's the third day in a row that it's been elevated here. We look at the last week or so, this all kind of kicked up. It looks like maybe late Tuesday or so. And that's a pretty decent number for a total tally. Looks like 1,228 epicenters, which is a pretty good number. And this has all been situated here across the southern end of the Cascadia subduction zone. And of course, we did see a little bit of uptick here back in April. I thought that was going to be a big time event. It didn't. We'll see if this one kind of compares to it. Maybe we'll surpass it. So we'll just kind of watch it. Of course, there's all sorts of dynamics at play here. It could have something to do with the, that crack offshore there off the coast of Oregon that's kind of leaking some liquid there. I covered that quite a few videos back. Maybe I'll include that here at the end of this video as up next here on YouTube. So, but yeah, pretty good number of tremor kicking up there. All right, let's get back here to the most recent quakes here, where Northern California is still kind of showing some activity out here around Lake Almanor. It's been actually quite busy today compared to the past couple days. Of course, over a week ago or so now, we did see that 5.5 stirring things up out here. So aftershock activity coming and going as it pleases. We did have a 4.1 early this morning, about 4 o'clock or so. The latest shows a 2.3, about 9:30 my time here, local time in California. A little bit of movement here on the Cascadia, the southern end, 2.7, 18 kilometers deep earlier this evening, right around the Triple Point Junction area. Rest of California looks like a little spotty movement south of Lake Tahoe. Bay Area looks pretty quiet for now. Southern California, not seeing anything drastic going on here. Of course, typical movement here across the fault systems there. As far as the 2.5 map and above, let's see, what do we got here? Looks like a little bit of swarming going on here near, let's see here, off 89, south of Lake Tahoe, good distance. If I remember right, this is the area that's seen, I think it's seen a 6-pointer back here, if I remember right, or an upper 5. May have been a couple years ago. But that name here, the Markleyville area, looks mighty familiar. Either way, a little bit of activity kicking up there today in the 2 and 3 range. Also some other smaller microquakes in the mix there of earthquakes. Across Yellowstone here, not a whole lot going on. Looks like a few earthquakes showing up here on the map. Let me bring up the Yellowstone overview. I don't know if they're working or not, but we're sure going to check. And it doesn't look like they are online. So if there's any type of hang up longer than 10 seconds, I will put that off. So it doesn't look like there's too much going on there. At least, well, you know, I better double check. Let me go over here to the University of Utah. And here you can check the individual stations there at Yellowstone National Park, and if there's anything big going on, we definitely see it across many of the stations, and doesn't look like it. I'm not seeing anything major going on. It just looks like that site isthisthingon.org has been having some weird issues lately with their server, so I don't know, kind of weird stuff going on there. All right, let's see what else we have here. Rest of the country, as we look across Texas and Oklahoma, typical movement out there. Nothing major going on. The Puerto Rico area as well. Just looks like some 2s and 3s out there across the Trench region. Down here into the southeastern Pacific area, the West Chili Rise, we did see a 5.9 come in earlier this afternoon as well. That should affect areas up along the Peru Chile Trench. This is a divergent boundary. Separation of the seafloor, so to speak, out there into the South Pacific Ocean. Looking at the South America region here on the Earthquake 3D globe, really not a whole lot of uptick currently, but still we'll keep an eye on this area for some further subsequent movement. Down here in New Zealand, looks like a couple 3s going on across South and North Island. Again, deeper movement quakes being triggered here into the Tonga and the northern end of the Kermadec Trench, with well, looks like a pretty good cluster of quakes again across the Indonesia area. Excuse me. As a 4.4 comes in right now, so along the Java Trench. Turkey area looks fairly quiet except for some 2s out there, and got one earthquake down here into the Prince Edward Islands area. Excuse me. Not for sure what happened here. Maybe swallowed a bug. Still got some gnats out here that are just, it won't go away. It's just because we're a little bit moist out here into the ground still. All right, space weather activity. Let's check this out here real quick while I still have a voice. Well, it looks like they've dropped these a little bit. 90% chance for a C flare, M flare at 30, X flare around 5. Still a proton event of 5% chance there, just due to the number of sunspots. A little bit of flaring going on here across a couple of these regional sunspots here, which are going to be, looks like 3310, 3312. Let's see what we got for the latest information here. This sunspot area over here, that's kind of scooting off the northwestern limb of the sun, still poses some interesting dynamics there. Very close proximity to one another. That could be a sign still of maybe seeing some further flaring, although our main sunspot 3311 is dying rapidly. This area that's currently facing us on the Earth-Sun plane looks about looks about the same as what it did earlier this morning. We'll keep an eye on that one though and see if it picks up any. That'd be about the only one right now to watch that is currently center disk. Let's see. No major coronal holes. No major solar storming going on. 1 second here. All right. I'm back. Let's see here if we can recognize some of these members here. It's been a little while since gave a shout out. Now, of course, these members here are automatically entered into our monthly drawing. I'm just finding something to drink here. One of these clearly Canadian drinks will work. All right, much better. Much better. So, what's up? Albert Sanchez Jr. right up at the top of the list. Of course, he's one of our long time, I think one of our longest members here on the channel. Rejoined here, it looks like just today. Thank you very much here, Albert Sanchez Jr. Coming up on 1 year. Congratulations. We've been doing it already for a year? All right, I guess we have. Time's just flying by. So every month we do these monthly drawings here. Give away some prizes here as a form of just recognizing our members and the folks that help contribute to this channel. And of course, extra perks, extra videos, all that stuff comes along with being a member here on the YouTube channel. Superfan Lois, 1 day ago. Thank you very much for joining. Looks like 5 lights. Tony Walter, Chris, thanks for jumping in there. 3 months, rejoined 1 day ago. John Jerome, SB, Connor Bowles, it looks like. Victoria Neeson, Wes, Sherry Sanders. There's a lot, so I'm going to skip through these real quick. Dolores Venezuela, 12 months, 1 year. Congratulations there. Marietta, J Fuentes 347, 1 year as well. Thank you very much for being a member here on this channel. C1434, super fan there. Philip Mint, Michelle Farmer, Tornado Outbreak. I like that. Super fan for 1 month. DH, Isaiah, thanks for checking in. Raphael, Amanda Little, Ruth Kahn, Nana, Matlock. Nana is one of the channel supporters. That's a little upgrade from the super fan feature. I appreciate that. Matlock, Grace Johnson, Tracy Taylor, Penny, Alyssa, the narrator, Tyler, Shelley, Karen, Christopher, Reedy, Dixie, JJ. There's a lot. Look at that. Almost 100 subscribers here on this channel. That's awesome. Let's see. Where did I leave off here? Ooh. I'm going to have to get Missy Mimi's to help me pronounce that one. But Verwolf, I think. Ambrosia, 95. Stormy Hawkins. Crystal. Kathy Pike. Wendy Fowler. Dawn Larson. Maria Park. Thank you very much. Coming up on 10 months there. Mercedes. Alex. PJ. Is that Shaylar or Shylar? Thank you very much. 29 days. Squatch Girl, California. Sydney, Danielle. UG33. That's an interesting name there. Kathleen, thank you for checking in. Lilu, Harlita, Javika, channel supporters. Both of these people are. Thank you very much for being channel supporters. And also Harlita has contributed to quite a bit of these members out here by doing these super fan donations. So welcome to all the new members out here. Ricky's, Nancy, Jeannie or Jeanne Baker, Linda Eaton, Alan, Unimportant Entertainment, Dinsian of the Ages, member there as well, coming up on 3 months. Matthew, Lucy, Purple Bullet, Timothy, 6 months there, Timothy, Craig. I'm still not 100% certain how to pronounce that, but I'll let you guys be the reader here. 4 months. Thank you very much. Melanie Fisher. 262, looks like Bafaz 262. Superfan, Helen Horn, Alicia Stanford, Laura Bonnet, Dean, Clayton, Hurricane Heather. Hurricane Heather was our last member drawing winner. So congratulations there, Hurricane Heather. Janice, Juno James, Mike Moses, goodness. Joycelyn, Catherine, Pamela Hamilton, Judy, Betty Kelly, Nancy Kozlowski, John Didier, 12 months, coming up on a year. Debash Mode, Joelle Kozlowski, Mike Delaney, Pamela Conley, Ray Addington, Hope and Feathers, and at least on this list right here, Robert Kozlowski, down the list, but basically one of the longtime members here on this channel. So we appreciate every single one of you guys out here that helped make this this little program here possible. And again, we'll be doing a drawing here, of course, around the 15th of June. I can't believe well, it's already coming up on June. That's crazy. All right, that was definitely a pretty lengthy shout out there to all the members, but well worth it. And we try to recognize the members here, not only by giving away drawings, giving away things in drawings, but also extra videos and perks and notable mentions out here in some of our videos. I try to do it on every Friday night if I can. Sometimes I forget, especially if I'm barbecuing and kind of staying busy outside. But either way, we appreciate you guys. Let's see, anything else going on here, folks? Far as earthquake activity goes there on the Big Island, not a whole lot. Taking a little temporary pause, it looks like, again, still there on the Big Island. Wanted to go to the hazard notification system here real quick. I'm not seeing anything major popping up here. See what's going on here for Kilauea Volcano, the 26th. That was put out this morning, it looks like. Tilt meters recorded somewhat variable tilt over the past day. However, recent rates of deformation have been high. So one of these is saying over 60 earthquakes in the past day. Most of them have been smaller than magnitude 2. I'm not seeing that. If they're saying that there's been 60, of course that was put out this morning. This did not show 60 last night, so I'm kind of curious to see what's going on out here. Let's go over here and check out. I guess I need to start checking out the recorded seismograph stations again out here, if they're working. A lot of times these are not working, and it's a little frustrating to see. Or try to find one that may be working. Seismic station there. There we go. See, now this is actually kind of interesting here. This is over the past 12 hours. You guys see all that? That's a lot more than what's showing up here. Even if we were to include some of this activity across Pahala, that doesn't look like they're showing all the quakes here on the map. I see well over 20 of them. I could probably count double that. So that's a little interesting. I'll just have to keep covering the recorded Webby quarters here. Let's see what else we got. Tilt meters. Some of these work, some of these don't. It's just the majority of the time, for whatever reason, this equipment is not working. So I'm not for sure who's in charge of it. All I know is it's not being properly maintained because it's not accessible here for us in the public domain. All this should be readily operatable and publicly accessible here for anyone that wants to view this. And when it's not working, well, it's not working, and we don't really know what's going on. So we have to rely on the experts, right? But then again, there's only 3 earthquakes occurring here at Kilauea. Well, I counted probably 40 of them on the other map, and that was in the last 12 hours. All right, folks, I'm going to jump off here. Have a good night. It's getting close to my bedtime here. It's probably past my bedtime, but it's Friday night, so just wanted to do a little later update. 4.5 Columbia. That one coming in looks like just about 20 minutes or so ago. As far as the Webby quarters go, live stations, looks like a little bit of activity around Yellowstone. Aside from that, everything looks calm and clear and quiet for now. We'll catch you guys back here tomorrow, Saturday. Have a good one, folks. Stay safe out there.